Hey everyone. So I just wanted to spend a few minutes going over my thoughts on Blackwood. I know this is a little late. I was actually down in Texas for a few weeks, spending some time with some friends from Guild Wars 2 from back in the day. So, I'll go over what I've seen of Blackwood. I tried to spend quite a bit of time in there before I formed any kind of opinion. I didn't want to just burn through the story real quick and tell you what I thought. So I've gone through the story, played around with the new mechanics, the NPCs, companions, a lot of things they've added. So yeah, let me give you my thoughts on it and, tell you if I think it's worth buying. So first thing I wanted to cover is just the story itself. It's not amazing, but I've never really thought any of the story modes in this game really have been. I'd say it follows, in my opinion, Dark Brotherhood is still the best, followed by Orsinium, and then probably this one is my next favorite. Just because I just love encountering the Argonian NPCs, just their dry humor, just the way they talk. It's just funny. I really enjoy it. That and I've noticed they added a lot of things. Like you'll be traveling along the road and you'll encounter, random things that'll happen. Like one encounter I saw, there was these new giant frog, mobs that had attacked a person.
Oh, hello there. What are you? Oh, no! It was good that you came to help me. I didn't want to be in there any longer than I was.
Another encounter I had as I'm walking down the road, this wasn't even a quest, it was just an NPC walking down the road I talked to who said I had a traveler who had followed me or something like that. And as you talk to them, you find out that they have, they basically exorcise a spirit from you. Apparently the spirit had attached itself to you in a dungeon or something. It has no bearing on the story or your, stats or anything at all, but it was just interesting to see that. I think that helps. These kind of things add more, like making the world feel more lively, like it's an actual place, opposed to just, just a painted landscape that you're running through.
There is an aura of death about you. A quite dour and pervasive one at that. It's a good thing we found each other. I can patch you up in no time. Just need to identify the source of your spiritual malaise. That may be so, but I've learned that spirits are crafty, and calling on them is often necessary. As my mentor, ghost hunting expert Claudina Ildane would say, it's healthy to set boundaries in relationships, especially with the dead. Well, the next step is complicated. I need to identify the spiritual passenger you are dealing with. Have you been in any locations rife with death lately? A terrifying cave or a haunted ruin? A forsaken forest, perhaps? That makes sense. Subterranean places attract all manners of woeful entities. They reside within the crevices, hide behind boulders, and wait beneath black pools. Did you encounter anything in the darkness? I thought I sensed something savage about you. Your passenger covets a hunt. Death was not enough to sate their bloodlust, even though the hunt is over. Now on to you. How are you feeling? A spirit that seeks to avoid detection. Oh no. There is a possession-type spirit within you. If left untreated, it will infiltrate your mind, consuming all your thoughts until you have no identity left. Shall I begin the cleansing rites? Be gone, undead traveler. Let this living host be free of your blight.
Worms find you before your grave. I will pluck out your eyes for this.
They also brought back the Duke of Crows. He was a character from, I want to say, the last expansion on one of the side quests. But he's a get back again in another side quest that I really enjoyed.
Ah, Giant One! The Duke of Crows requests your help. It is you! Hail, Crow Friend! My keen eyes recognized your ambling gait. The Duke of the Black Feather Court requires your aid. My flock was lured here by peasant cultists. We were tricked by promises of shinies, and now we're all trapped. Trapped!
The next feature that they added is they finally have skill timers. You no longer have to use add-ons for this to work. So now, if you've been trying to achieve that DPS you want, but you're not good at counting, the rotation time or how many seconds it's been on a cooldown on a skill, you actually can enable that now, and it'll help you out with your DPS. I know it's helped me out quite a bit. This may not be for everyone, but if you're interested in maybe boosting your DPS a little bit, this can be very helpful without having to get other add-ons. Certain things in this game, like a mini map, something like this, things I think should just be in the game without having to go through the extra effort of adding that add-on and updating it constantly. And if you ever format your PC, you got to go through and do it again. Just things that are added to the base game I really appreciate. So in order to turn on your timers, if you're using the keyboard and mouse, you just simply hit the escape button, go to your settings, and then go down to combat. And then you have your ability bar timers, and you even got one for the back row also. Now I'm using a controller, so you just simply go to your options, and then go to combat, same thing, and you'll have, if you go down, ability bar timers, ability bar back row. So mine are both on. Let me go down here, and I'll show you what happens when you actually attack something. If I can find anything to kill. Here we go. So I'm going to go with, you can see my skills right now, how they have timers. Let's go ahead and drop a couple AoEs. All right, now we have timers on all 4 items. Now I can switch over to my other bar, and you notice how I still have the timers. You can see them on my back bar. This is a great feature. I really love it, instead of having to switch back and forth to, realize if it's done or not. But yeah, I'm really happy with this feature. Glad they finally added it. So the big thing that I wanted to talk about really was companions. I have actually really enjoyed this mechanic. When they first talked about it, I figured, they're going to be pretty dumb. They're not going to be helpful for anything. And while that is kind of true in some situations, they're a lot better than you would expect. Like, you will actually see them do things like, I have a tank for one of mine that is a level 20. I still need to get a lot of gear because he's still under geared pretty bad. But you will actually see him block, drop skills that'll help him, have a shield. Like, it's mostly Dragonite skills. But he does a pretty good job staying alive. I have gone through, a few, at least last night I did Elden Hollow 1 Veteran. He couldn't quite tank the last boss in there because giant red circles, they just can't seem to understand you need to get out of them. But other times you'll see them dodge out of other circles and attacks and stuff. So it's almost there, but not quite. If my character was fully geared up, I'd say they're probably good for any kind of veteran, just standard content. Now DLC is probably another story. I'm betting they can't. But I'll do a follow-up video on that once I've geared my character up, just showing off, what they can and cannot do. But in the meantime, I really do appreciate the companions. It's pretty helpful. And if you're like me and you do any pug dungeons, these companions are better than like probably 75% of the pugs you get anyway, because most people have no clue what they're doing when they jump into these dungeons. So it's definitely an appreciated feature.
Can I help you with something?
So as you can see there, you notice the big red circle. He wasn't smart enough to get out of it. And when he got to lower health, he started to move, but by then it was just too late. So maybe with better gear, they might be able to take on stuff like world bosses like I was doing right there. I really look forward to seeing what it can do once I have my character improved. That covers pretty much all the main stuff. There are still a few problems, but it is Elder Scrolls Online. You know how bugs can be. I've been crashing the desktop pretty regularly, at least a couple times a week. There's also been some issues with skill lag, I want to call it. I usually have these problems on controllers in general, wired or wireless, but I have a friend who has a keyboard and mouse, and he's been experiencing the same issues since this expansion came out, where you click the button, it just doesn't work sometimes, or it'll work and it'll be a second late. So I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's an engine issue or it's a server issue or what's going on. Hopefully they address it sooner than later. Otherwise, though, I've really enjoyed this expansion. It feels like a good quality of life type update where they're, looking towards the future with the companions, with these timers. It's pretty good. I would honestly really recommend it despite the few bugs that are out there. So thanks for watching. I will have some more content on this, especially when I get these NPCs updated and see how they work out. So see you in the next video.